Hiya, I'm Sparkles, and welcome to the video! Originally, the Evolutions as Magical Girls video was supposed to come out before this. However, doing this challenge really burnt me out, so it'll come out hopefully next week. Not only burn out, but I also started college! Yay! This art challenge was a month-long challenge in the month of October called Cringetober that was created by an account on Tumblr known as I Cry Inc. Basically, one piece of art for every day of October. Sounds simple, right? 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 As someone who's tried many of art challenges, I have completed very few. So I was extremely excited to start and finish this challenge. However, this month-long challenge have got infiltrated by a ferret man and a traumatized child soldier. Sorry, not sorry. Now, I'll admit, at the tail end of the challenge, I got so burnt out that I missed a couple days and had to make up for them at the very last minute, and I mean very last minute. Anyone who has done a month-long challenge knows how difficult it is to constantly stay on track and finish fully detailed illustrations. At the end of the day, you shouldn't get discouraged if you miss a couple of days in a challenge, because it should be about having fun and challenging yourself. But I have been stalling long enough. Now onto the first day of Cringetober. Day 1's prompt was Screenshot Redraw. If you haven't watched Season 3 of The Owl House, I'd skip a minute ahead. I chose the screenshot from Season 3, Episode 2 of The Owl House before Ruse's talisman hatched. I think the colors and the background are just so gorgeous, and I had to recreate this image. This is the first time I recreated a screenshot from a show, so I'm really happy with the results. I found my favorite part was drawing the background and all those little stars. It was very therapeutic. Another thing I really loved was the lighting and the highlighting of the art piece, because I think it turned out really well despite the fact that it's not a one-to-one recreation of the screenshot. All in all, I think this started Cringetober very nicely, kicking my motivation into overdrive. Day 2's prompt was Tsundere's, so I had to draw my two OCs, Pearl and Faust. If you're familiar with my shorts, you would see them typically bickering and fighting generally, or acting similarly to one would a tsundere. Their lore video will come out on a later date, but to summarize them for this video, these two are from rival countries, and their marriage will help their countries form a stronger alliance. However, these two aren't so fond of each other, and they bicker a whole lot before they start to enjoy their own company. That's why I think it was perfect for these two to represent this day's prompt. I have them folding their arms and acting upset, however their body language says otherwise, as Faust's tail is curling around Pearl's legs. This day's prompt wasn't anything too interesting, but I still think it's cute. Day 3's prompt was Oversized Prop, and immediately I thought of Amy Rose with her giant hammer. I started on the pose with Amy sitting on her hammer that I exaggerated for this prompt day, and her Dulce outfit from Sonic Forces Mobile. Not sponsored. It is such a cute outfit, I couldn't help myself. I got so much cute aggression with Amy's outfit. From the donut bracelets to the strawberries and cream on her dress, it's so cute. I really had a fun time drawing Amy's shoes, and usually I'm not happy when I draw shoes, so I think this was a step in the right direction. And not gonna lie, the Sonic art style was not easy just to pick up, so I definitely struggled with the style, but I do think it looks pretty good for a first try. Day 4's prompt was Fursona/Fursuit. And I decided to do a Fursona of my persona online. I turned my little guy into an axolotl because the axolotl Fursona works with all the bold colors and the monster-like quality of my persona. Another reason why I chose axolotl is because my persona, a Cyclops, was inspired by Polyphemus from the Odyssey, who was the son of Poseidon, which is why I chose an aquatic animal. I lengthened the axolotl tail for stylized purposes, obviously, for a better silhouette. I think this is the first time I get to draw my persona's shoes, so there they are. And the outfit's exactly the same. I think the axolotl was a great choice in the end. I mean, look at that little guy. Day 5's prompt was Gijinka. And at first, I was going to turn Kane from the amazing digital circus into a human. However, I was hit with inspiration to draw Bill as an old man. So here we are. I gave human Bill a triangle eye patch that looks like Triangle Bill. I also made the eye patch look like it's the eye that isn't winking at you. Another thing I did for human Bill was making his jacket closer to a triangle, even including the pyramid bricks that Bill has in his design. I gave Bill a cane with an eye to keep the eye theming going. And of course it wouldn't be an old man without the graying hair and lots of face and neck wrinkles. Day 6 prompt, Unnatural Eye Color, is one of my favorite prompt days as it brought lots of nostalgia of drawing ink sands. This is bringing me a whole lot of memories from middle school, so I guess it's fulfilling the purpose of Cringetober. Ink Sands was a fan-made alternate universe sans from the creator Kamiet on Tumblr. So sorry if I said that wrong. I wanted Ink Sands to be the main focus as Ink's eyes are very expressive and big, so I have his hands gesturing to his eyes. One of Ink's most iconic features is his constant color and shape-changing eyes. I decided on the most classic Ink Sans shapes, that being a star and a circle. I think one of my favorite aspects of the drawing is these cute little rainbow squiggle blush things on Ink Sans. He's often drawn that way by his creator. Day 7's prompt was crossover, and as I was brainstorming, I saw a Hatsune Miku and Cinnamoroll collab figure, and I thought, what if Miku collabed with Tuxedo Sam, my beloved? So, here we are. Since Tuxedo Sam has a little sailor guy hat, I had to give Miku a sailor fuku with a matching hat. If I were to go back, I would have given Tuxedo Sam a sailor fuku too for them to match together, but I digress. I also added a life buoy necklace thing because of the whole sailor theming Tuxedo has. I really wanted to lean into the sailor aspect despite Tuxedo literally being in the name of Tuxedo Sam. I have Hatsune Miku holding Tuxedo Sam in a cute pose like the Cinnamoroll and Hatsune Miku figure. Day 8's prompt, Dead Meme, was one I was struggling with until I remembered that Neon Cat was a big meme, and I decided to draw Neon Cat as a cute girl. To me, Neon Cat would be the kind of person to wear lots of accessories and clothes that don't match entirely, but make her happy. I gave her a Neon Cat hoodie with cat ears on the hood and a Pop-Tart pocket. I gave her a pink skirt and some workout shorts because I feel like she'd be very active. Along with that, I also gave her some rainbow leg warmers. For accessories, I gave her a choker and some pink fingerless gloves to match her skirt. The design is very all over the place, which was exactly what I was going for, so that's good enough. Day 9's prompt was childhood video game, and you might be asking, Sparkles, where's the ferret man you promised? Where is he? Well, here he is. He's my own little creation and I love him. That's my son. I decided to draw the ferret man, also known as Jack Hart, in the Pokemon X and Y style because it was a game I played as a child over and over again. Now I had to give Jack a furret because ferret man. Now the style was extremely hard to replicate, and it was even harder considering his more ferret features in a mostly human art style. Not too proud of the results, but I do think it was a great learning experience with learning a different art style. Day 10's prompt was ship dynamic, and again, Ferret Man and his polycule came to mind. These OCs aren't canonically dating, but I do find it fun to draw these three in more romantic scenarios. The girl in the middle was the traumatized child soldier I was talking about. That's Rory. Essentially, she's from a war-torn world filled with Lovecraftian demons that come out every night, and she gets accidentally sent to another world filled with magic. The other guy, Jasper, hasn't got too much yet because the story's in its bare bones in its development, other than the fact that he's the voice of reason and has a much more troubled past. There isn't much for him. Hopefully I'll be able to make these three as equally interesting, and when that comes, I can't wait to do a lore video on them. These three designs aren't set in stone, but for now, here's the three dumbasses. Day 11's prompt was 5 plus 1 thing, which was a fanfiction trope in which 5 similar actions happened and the one time it was different. Now this one sucked to do. I understand this was the creator's way to make this more multimedia friendly. However, it was a struggle to come up with a way to execute this in a clean and concise fashion for more traditional art. I decided on 5 times someone chose Rory's outfit and the 1 time she chose her own outfit. Now the first one is from none other than the ferret man, Jack. Since Jack's theme is hearts, I feel like he'd choose a design that implemented hearts, including giving her his own jacket for the look. The second one was from Jack's older stepsister, Goldie. She gave Rory a cute sundress with an empire waist and a cute bow to match the whole flowy look. The next one, being Jasper, is just their school uniform because he's a simple man with simple tastes. What more can I say? Now the fourth one is definitely hard to explain. This guy's name is Ocean, and he is a deer-like fae with a secret. I feel like he'd be the type to give Rory a full-length ball gown because of his affections for more classical fashion with a more modern twist. The next one comes from a character with no name yet, but he's an apex predator who tends to dress sloppy, so it makes sense that he only chose like a t-shirt and shorts for Rory. Day 12's prompt was Hatsune Miku / Vocaloid, and you already know I was going to choose my girl Hatsune Miku. That's my number 1. Now this day's prompt wasn't like the mammoth that last day's prompt was, so it was basically like a big break for me. I drew Hatsune Miku with her iconic hair, including her 2 giant teal pigtails, with the rest of her also very iconic look with her thigh-high boots and arm warmer bands. I think that's what they are. The one thing I totally forgot to do in the end was her 01 tattoo, but that's the only big pet peeve I have of this design. Other than that, it's a very cute drawing of Hatsune Miku posing, and personally, I think this is my favorite Hatsune Miku I've ever drawn. Day 13's prompt was Rule 63, aka gender swapping a character. Now the ferret man and his polycule had to be brought up for this one. I just couldn't stop myself. He's infected my brain, someone help. I decided to have them all eating some ice cream and showing their characters through that. For instance, Jasper's ice cream is in a bowl so they don't spill anything. Rory's ice cream is on a cone and chocolate and vanilla because they've never had ice cream, so they wanted to have both. It's also melting because they probably didn't know about ice cream until just then. And finally, Jack has 3 different flavors because they are obsessed with sugar and it's melting because they can't stop yapping. Teen's prompt, incorrect quote, was very fun to plan out. I decided to go with Jack and Rory with a famous quote of, "Someone will die of fun." I feel like it really works for these two very different personalities, one being from a world where they've learned nothing but war, and another with magic and whimsy. I also started experimenting with Jack's colors because I realized that Jack and Rory share too similar of a color palette, and I feel like a change would help them stand out apart from one another. So, here you see Jack having yellow in his color palette instead of red. I wanted Rory's more main color to be red, so I had to take Jack's red from him. Honestly, I feel like I could have done a background, but we're moving on. Day 15, Halfway's prompt was animation meme. However, I lost all of the recording footage, so you'll have to see in my shorts. It involved the ferret man polycule, shock upon shock. I know, truly new material with the song Nasty Dog. And I, for one, am proud that I managed to do that in one day. It's nothing groundbreaking, there's a lot of errors, but I am proud of it. Day 16's prompt, something you've been bullied for, is probably the one prompt I've got to critique, and that's because not everyone gets bullied. I have never been outright bullied, I know, shocker, but I feel like drawing what you were bullied for shouldn't really be a prompt. If anything, it should be something you were insecure about, which is what I did for the challenge. Please do not send any hate to the creator of this prompt. It's just my mild critique. Other than that, I've really been enjoying Cringetober. It's just this one little thing that bothered me. Now, aside from that, I've always been insecure about my eyebrows and eye bags, so I just decided to draw a self-portrait with a much more hyper-realistic style than I'm used to. Honestly, I think this is my favorite because it's so different from the others. Day 17 was a free-to-use base, and I will link the person who created this free-to-use base in the description. I can't really pronounce their username, so sorry. Now, again, I used Rory and Jack. So sorry to Jasper. He keeps being unintentionally left out. Sorry, man. Tough break. Now, I got started experimenting with blue on Jack because I was desperate to make some colors work with him. I wanted Rory in this art piece experimenting with clothes while also experimenting with different shades of colors as well. 2 birds, 1 stone. Again, these two are not dating, I just think it's fun to put them in romantic scenarios. Rory is also consistently wearing some strawberry earrings because I wanted to keep it consistent, like Rory's at the mall, and trying out new clothes and modeling them for Jack. These poses are way too out of character for her, but I feel like Jack's older sister definitely taught her some poses to show off the clothes, so I guess that works with it. This piece was very fun to use since normally I don't use a base, and again, go to the description and support the artist who made this free to use base. They're amazing and talented. Day 18 was Fandom Au, and I was just going to draw ink sands again, but then when I went on Tumblr for some inspo, I found an alternate universe of Gravity Falls in which Mabel and Dipper were the Grunkle and Grunty, and Stan and Ford were the nephews. And in this AU, Mabel is Stan, and she is such a cute grandma. I just want to pinch her cheeks. This AU is called Relativity Falls, and anyone who makes fan art of it are such great artists, and they make this AU stand out in my own opinion. I have Grunty Mabel ruffling her nephew's hair after some probably crazy adventure. I think this was really fun to do. I've never been the best with drawing older characters, but I think this turned out very nice. Day 19 was alternative fashion, and this time it's just Rory in another new look. I found an outfit on Pinterest that I thought worked well with Rory's color scheme, as well as this day's prompt. This one doesn't have a lot to talk about because it's just a cute girl, which is very in my comfort zone. Rory's pose is more canon than Day 17's pose, as she'd be a little bit more bashful in an outfit she's not used to. I don't think this outfit would ever come up in the series, but since it's just for an art challenge, I'll let it slide, especially since it's very cute. Sorry there isn't much commentary with this one. As I said, cute girls are in my comfort zone. Day 20 was Tumblr Sexywoman, and immediately Ida the Owl Lady came to mind. Ida is my favorite character in the Owl House, but I usually don't have time to draw fan art of her, so this day was really fun for me. I gave Ida this very smug pose as she's holding her face in her hands and smirking at the camera. Very in character for the Owl Lady herself. I feel like out of all the characters in the Owl House, Ida was the one that came out of the show fully developed. That's no fault to the writers, as it got cancelled midway through their show and they had to condense and write out character arcs. But I feel like Ida was certainly one of those characters who got to have their full story concluded, especially since season 2 episodes tackled her backstory and let her grow as a character way more. Day 21 was Closet Cosplay, and I have Rory in a Usagi Tsukino cosplay from Sailor Moon. Specifically this outfit from the anime. I even have her hair buns and loose hair combo that Usagi has. A closet cosplay is when you create a cosplay from your own clothes from your closet. I thought this would be a very cute outfit for Rory to be in. And again, another hard art piece to commentate on, but I'll try my best. I have Rory in the classic Sailor Moon pose and having her very bashful expression. Again, a little out of character, but it's just for fun. Day 22 was Candygore, and if you're sensitive to gore, skip a minute ahead. I was on the fence about doing this day because personally I'm not a fan of overly gory art for the sake of being overly gory art. I am very squeamish to blood, and if you're a fan of gore, more power to you. It's entirely a me thing. Now, I decided to go with Princess Bubblegum having an accident in the lab and gum leaking out. Personally, the gum leaking out isn't entirely realistic or very good, but I tried my best. This certainly is the farthest thing away from my comfort zone. I do think it was a great learning experience, but it's not really that gory, and the candy part only comes from Princess Bubblegum being made of gum. Day 23, adult cartoon, not porn, was certainly a tricky one because there isn't a lot of good adult animation that I enjoy until I remembered Tuca and Birdie. Tuca and Birdie deserved a whole lot more than was given because I was very invested in the show, and imagine my surprise when the show got cancelled. I found all the struggles of Tuca and Birdie were ones I've struggled with in the past, and I found it really comforting to see those struggles being addressed on screen. For the art, I have Tuca and Birdie hugging because I feel like that very much encapsulates their whole friendship. Their beaks were challenging, but I think I managed to turn it... Day 24, niche interest, is one I found that was hard to decide since niche is especially subjective. So I decided to draw Tuxedo Sam and my human Tuxedo Sam. Tuxedo Sam isn't entirely niche, but he isn't super popular, so I'm gonna let it slide for now. I wanted the human Tuxedo Sam hugging the plush Tuxedo Sam, similarly to the crossover day prompt. This drawing was probably the start to my burnout, as it was very in my comfort zone, and I also had school that kept me from this challenge. It's a really cute drawing, but not a lot to be commented on. Day 25 was Gatcha Life, and I'm going to be honest, I had no idea what to do for this. I was past the age demographic when Gatcha Life came out, so I really had no knowledge on it prior to this video. I decided to do a randomizer and create a character out of it, and this was the outcome. My first reaction when I looked at this mess was that it looked like a child dressed itself, so that was the angle I went through. Since the design colors were all over the place, I had to change them and space them out. In the end, it's a fun design, but not a character I would use in any of my stories. But fine enough for a art challenge prompt. Day 26, YN/Mary Sue, was a day I wasn't able to complete until really late. So a lot of the ideas for this day were very scattered and one note. I decided to make my persona as if they were in the amazing digital circus show. Less like a Mary Sue or a YN, but more like a self-insert. I have my persona like a Frankenstein-like doll with a globe for a head. Like a kid who lost the head of their doll and decided to replace it with the next best thing. Other than the new stitches and the globe for a head, it was still the same persona design, minus a couple of details I think that the amazing digital circus crew would take off to fit with the design, meshing with the others. Looking back on it, it's very cute, and most likely that head is spinnable, so Jax would have a field day with her. Day 27, YouTuber fan art. From this day to the 31st, I completely missed and had to do them all on Halloween at the very last minute. I didn't exactly have the choice because I had so much to do in the month of October that I wasn't able to. So when I managed to draw this day, I decided to draw fan art of Gijinka OWO's Fursona. I decided to do a completely different style for this to sort of mimic Gijinka OWO's style with my own added flares and touches. It was hard not to draw the eyebrows thick like I usually do, but other than that, it was so cute. I think the outcome of the drawing turned out really cool, and it almost makes me want to experiment more with my art style. Day 28 was Mascot Horror, and as I said, I had to complete 5 days worth of prompts in one day, so I had to simplify what I did for day 28. For this piece, I decided on Sundrop from Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach because Sundrop is probably my favorite animatronic from FNAF, and that is basically the birth of Mascot Horror. I have Sundrop outstretching his arms, very excited to greet the daycare kids. Again, I did this on a time crunch, so it isn't as detailed or intricate as it could have been. It is still very cute. I especially love his face. That's probably the most proud I've ever been on a face. Top 10 faces of all time. Day 29 was experimental makeup, and I had to bring Faust and Pearl back for this day's prompt. Originally, I was going to draw Pearl and Faust and the girl sitting on the other girl to do their makeup, but again, I did this on the last day of October, so not a lot of time to do what I actually wanted to do. I have Pearl holding Faust's face still while she applies blush to her cheeks. Faust isn't usually one for makeup, so you can see how much of a struggle it is for Pearl to put it on her. Still very cute, and it let me experiment with Faust's eyelashes, so it's a win in my book. Day 30, Supernatural / Monster, was one I was really excited about because I got to draw a Twisted Wonderland OC of mine and Grimm. I have been slowly taken over by Twisted Wonderland, and it's only a matter of time until I finally make a redesign of Twisted Wonderland dorm uniforms because I have a lot of opinion on those outfits. For this I have Miku and Grimm as Frankenstein and his monster. I feel like this really works out with them, as Grimm is typically the one who wants to be in charge and you typically follows along. All in all, a cute duo outfit for the two, and this isn't the last you see of Twisted Wonderland on this channel. Mark my words. Day 31, Halloween. This day had to end with Jack, Jasper, and Rory in Halloween costumes trick-or-treating. Jack being a zombie, Rory being a vampire, and Jasper as a ghost. I feel like this works for them as Jack and Rory are way too into the costumes, and Jack just threw a sheet over his head and called it a day. I think this drawing was a little too boring for it being the last day, but after 30 drawings, I was just going to leave it as is. If I had more time, I could have changed a whole lot, but I digress. I have put myself through a ton during the month of October, some good, some bad, but it all helped improve my art. I can't believe I managed to complete all 31 days. I am so very proud of myself for doing this. Comment below which was your favorite day, and did you do any challenges in October? I love what people think of my 31 days in my own personal hell. Now, after 31 drawings, I'm ready to pass out. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to make all of this suffering worth it. Bye!